We know that AARP Wisconsin is looking out for all Americans, especially those 50 and older, and today's guest is Lisa Lampkins, the Federal Advocacy Director of AARP Wisconsin. So one of the things we want to talk about today is where AARP stands on tax reform as far as legislation is concerned.
Sure. Well, AARP is always fighting to protect older Americans from unfair taxes and to protect their retirement security. In this case, we're very concerned about what it means for people who rely on the medical expense deduction. There are about 183,000 Wisconsinites who rely on that deduction for help with high health care costs, things like wheelchairs, nursing homes. The vast majority of people who use it are older and have incomes of less than $75,000 a year. They really can't afford a tax hike.
No, this is a real concern. So what about things like Social Security and Medicare? Will tax reform impact that?
There aren't any specific provisions that make changes to those programs in the tax reform, but let me be clear, the impact is huge. The tax reform adds about $1.5 trillion to the deficit, meaning there's not going to be enough money to pay for other priorities.
Right.
So we're very concerned about huge cuts to programs that older people rely on. That's just not fair to cut those programs to pay for tax cuts for wealthy corporations.
So you are the expert in this field. What advice would you have for AARP members?
You know, I think it's always important that people contact their members of Congress. Let them know how this tax reform legislation would impact you and your family. You don't have to be an expert in the tax code. You don't have to know the ins and outs of the legislation. But it's always important to be in touch with your elected official.
Lisa, thank you so much. Great advice. I'm Emmy Fink, and you're buzzed into Madison.